All right, those new-look Lakers with LeBron at the helm have just a 2% chance to win the 2019 NBA title. This according to ESPN's Basketball Power Index. It's released today, and it's the sixth best chance among Western Conference teams. No surprise which team's at the top of the list. The star-studded Warriors lead the way with a 40% chance to win it all. Again, I should say. Now, despite entering his 16th season in the league, LeBron's is still having a seismic impact. His move, while the Lakers' 88% chance to make the playoffs might seem low, it is their highest chance in a preseason since the 2012-2013 season. They're projected to win 47 games this season. That's 12 more than last year's total, and their most number of projected wins in a preseason since that same 2012-2013 campaign. Ultimately, they've got a 5% chance to reach the NBA Finals, 5%, which, by the way, would be LeBron's 9th consecutive trip. I don't know how good it's looking. It is, though, again, their best preseason finals odds in the last 5 seasons. All right, Stephen A. Smith, let's cut to the chase. Plain and simple, how far do you think LeBron can take this Lakers team this season?
I think he can take them to the Western Conference Finals. Now, I know everybody think I'm smoking something, but it's not true. It's not true because I don't use drugs. Here's the reality of the situation. You look at LeBron James in the Western Conference. It's not just about what the Lakers are. It's about what the rest of the Western Conference is not. Yes, Golden State is Golden State, but Houston has Carmelo, an addition offensively, but defensively without Trevor Ariza and, Mbar Mute, that's a problem. You look at Oklahoma City. Carmelo is no longer there. It's Westbrook with Paul George with Steven Adams. Formidable, but possibly not enough. Who do you want me to bring up? The Utah Jazz, Donovan Mitchell, and who else? The Portland Trail Blazers. We know that Damian Lillard and obviously C.J. McCollum, they can ball, but what else do they have? The answer is not too much. So when you look at the rest of the Western Conference, it's right there to be grabbed by everybody outside of Golden State. And if you have LeBron James with young guys like Kuzma and Ingram, and then you added veterans who can defend and don't wilt beneath the pressure of playoff competition, you can consider Luke Walton's pace of play. These guys and what Magic and Rob Pelinka have been building. I think it's entirely plausible that it's really a 3-horse race between Golden State, Houston, and L.A. And who's to say that L.A. with LeBron cannot take out Houston?
That's the reason why you can never count this team out, even though the numbers would say that would be exceeding expectations, at least in this first season in L.A. So we'll see how that plays out.
Stephen A., there's the team, and it's a team game. Right. Then there's LeBron James. He's the greatest player. So let's talk about first, what were you looking for from LeBron James?
A little bit more aggression in the second half. Obviously, the numbers were impressive. He had like 26, 12, and 6. But the bottom line is that in the second half, he only scored 8 points, 3 of 6 shooting. When you consider the tempo that was taking place, the way that the Portland Trail Blazers were in attack mode, I certainly expected him to answer the ball with a little bit more aggression in the second half. He wasn't willing to do that. Obviously, getting other players involved and what have you, you got to take that into consideration. It was the first game. It's not the Staples Center. But in the end, what I also was looking for was from the rest of the guys, particularly Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma, combined 1 for 11 from three-point range. You saw the numbers 7 to 30 from three-point range. The Lakers were scoring 2 points. The Portland Trail Blazers were scoring 3. They hit 13 to 37 three-pointers. That really was the difference. Of course, Nick Starkis stepped up, came off the bench, and was highly productive. But when you see the onslaught that the Portland Trail Blazers are capable of giving you, and to know that Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum and Starkis coming off the bench are giving you that, I certainly expected more aggression from LeBron James in the second half.
Yeah, Lakers go 0 for 15 from 3 before they hit one. So that's LeBron James and some of the team. So the collective, the Lakers as a collective, you see what one game in?
I see activity. I see a team that wants to play together. They push the pace as well. They try to. They've got long defenders or what have you. But again, you're going to have problems if you're launching threes and missing. In a half-court set, those long defenders can do some things for you. There were times that there were the defensive lapses, guys cutting to the basket for Portland, and there wasn't a lake in sight, no question about that. But for the most part, the long defenders that they have on there, like an Ingram, like a Kuzma, to a lesser degree, Alonzo Ball, you saw those guys on the court defending. The problem is that when you're launching three-point shots and you're missing them, they lead to long rebounds, which leads to a break, or Portland pushing the ball up the floor, and somehow, some way, you're going to find open shots that you get. You can take advantage of them. That's Portland. That's the better teams in the Western Conference, like a Houston, not the Houston we saw last night. I'm talking about Houston from last year, or Houston, or Golden State, or what have you. So it's just a lesson for the Lakers. You either want to slow the pace just a touch, or you want to take high percentage shots, because if you're going to launch threes, you got to make them. Because if you miss them, you're not going to be in a position to defend the way that you need to. And those better shooting teams out west are going to take advantage of you.
Yeah, and the Lakers say they want to run and stop and pop, but they don't have. And this is not a surprise. Mm-hmm. When we saw the signings in the offseason, we're like, where's the three-point shooter? Where's the three-point shooter?
You still need that, but I still didn't expect Kuzma to shoot 1 for 7. That's just a bad night. He's better than 1 for 7 from three-point range, number one. Josh Hart came off the bench, gave you 20 points. He hit 3 or 5 three-pointers, and Josh Hart can play. Keep your eyes on him. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. If you're going to be a starting guard in the NBA, particularly at the 2 spot, you got to give me better than 5 points. You just have to do that. You just have to do that. You can't, if you're Lonzo Ball and you're coming off the bench, even though you're not a shooter, you got to give me more than 7 points. I need more from those guys. LeBron needs more from those guys if this team is going to ascend to the degree that I think they are. And also, let's talk about Magic Johnson, because even though I say all the things that I just said, Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka got to go out there and get another shooter. You're going to need one, which I believe they will do.
All right, starting lineup on opening night. We got James, Rondo, Ingram, Pope, and McGee. Is that the start? Did that surprise you?
No.
Why isn't Kuzma starting?
Well, listen, because
don't you want to run with these young guys?
You got to remember, you got guys that can give you something off the bench. In that case, it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. Now, a guy like Magic Johnson, who was on First Take this morning, spoke about how much he loves Brandon Ingram. He could be that secondary star on this team someday. I'm a Kuzma guy. Right. I like Kuzma more than I like Ingram. It's not that I dislike Ingram, because I know he's got a lot of promise, but I really like Kuzma. He missed tonight 1 of 7 from three-point range again, but he wants it, and he can hit perimeter shots. I think Josh Hart, you're going to see an elevated role of him playing, because he can hit perimeter shots. Guys who cannot shoot, the only people on the Los Angeles Lakers that have a license not to be able to shoot perimeter shots too well and still find themselves playing time is Rondo, Lonzo, and JaVale McGee. Anybody else who cannot shoot for the Lakers, put their behinds on the bench and bring in somebody who can make shots, because this is the wild, wild west. You got to be able to hit perimeter shots in order to beat those teams out west. It's that simple.
All right, I was born in Portland. I'm not going to be able to go back home if I don't say, hey, what did you see from the Blazers that you liked, didn't like?
No, I saw the same thing that I always like. I saw C.J. McCollum. I saw Damian Lillard, them being big time the way that they are. I saw Starkers come off the bench and do what he did. So it's good to get that. But they're still a guard-oriented, perimeter-oriented shooting team. And so to me, they're the same team they were last year. They'll win you 48 to 50 games. They'll get a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, and they'll go home in the first round, because you don't have those other guys that are capable of stepping up and giving them the production that they need. I believe that Portland, in order to ascend, one of them have got to go, so you can get frontline help. The two of them together are sensational. And I'm not telling you anything I haven't told both of them to their face.
Right, yeah.
I told both of them to their face. Together, they're big time, but not enough to win in the West. One of them has to go so you can get something back to buffer their front line, and as a result, that could ascend them. Them together ain't going to get it done in the West.
I'm on a crusade to get Portland to host the NBA All-Star Game. The city has never hosted it. It's a great city. Can I have you on board on that?
No, you cannot.
Why not?
Because I'm not, number one, I'm not interested in flying to the Pacific Northwest.
What?
Number two, even if I did, I like Seattle better than I like Portland.
They don't have a team.
Well, I understand that, which is why we're not going. And number three, listen, you got the Oracle out there, you got Golden State, you got Sacramento, and of course you got Southern California. Me personally, my preference, all the All-Star games would be in L.A. or South Beach. That's just me.
Portland.
That's just me.
Portland. We got to go to work on Stephen A. to get the All-Star game up in the Great Northwest.
It won't work.
Come on, Rip City, baby.